Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia?
Well, hello there. Welcome to a very special St. Patrick's Day episode of the podcast that you downloaded on your little internet device. It's me, Matt O'Brien. So I'm allowed to talk like this. And across from me, as always, I'm losing the accent. It's Julia Ludkowitz.
It's a wee lass, Julia Ludkowitz. She's Polish, but she's married to an Irishman. See, yar.
Oh God, it's going back to pirate. It's crazy how quickly Irish goes to pirate. But you don't hear about any Irish pirates.
No, yar. Pirates are just... What are pirates?
I don't know.
I mean, pirates can be from anywhere, really.
It's kind of like the Newfoundland accent in Canada. It's like it's just the coast. It's just the sea. You're out at sea long enough, and you develop some sort of weird accent.
Yar, the fish be speaking to yous.
Yes, they speaking to yous.
I can think of a
That's
reason.
Scottish, yeah.
That Canay is
I
Scottish.
think I'd Canay no. Either way, maybe that's why, because, Ireland, Scotland, maybe they dock at these places and anything goes out in the sea, maybe they're just like, they picked an accent that they liked and they just fucking rolled with it.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so. We are recording this on St. Patrick's Day, so apologies to you if you are you hearing that bird?
Yes, the birds have been going crazy this morning. I was like, earlier this morning, I'm like, there's a weird chirping. I'm like, it sounds like there's a bird in the house. And you're like, oh, I don't hear it chirping. Shut up.
I did not say that. It sounds like it's in our attic or something. Oh my God.
That's what I'm
the birds
saying.
are probably all fucked up because it's been raining for so much, and now it's finally sunny.
It's been
out.
raining for so much.
It's been raining for so freaking much, and now it's like sunny, and they're just singing the joys of summer.
Yeah, they're probably drunk.
Yeah, they're drunk.
Also, speaking about drunk, we're not drunk, but we walked the dog just 20 minutes ago, and it's quite warm. So Matt's wearing like a thermal and a green sweater, and he's so hot that he feels the need to take off the thermal. So he's just shirtless.
Yeah, on someone's front lawn.
Shirtless
basically.
on someone's front lawn, just taking off thermals, wearing his fuzzy green shirt. You look like just a drunken Irishman who's like, "Yar, the sun be too hot."
Get this off of me! I feel strangled. It's our neighborhood, and I've seen people do weirder in different neighborhoods. If I want to change my shirt, if someone saw that, enjoy the free show.
But what's funny? 2 minutes after that, we don't see a lot of unhoused people in our neighborhood. And when we were walking the dog a block later, we turned the corner, and then some man like a block away was like, "Fuck you, you whore, you slut, crackhead."
I think he was talking to me because I took my shirt off earlier.
I think he was talking to me because I was wearing yoga pants.
And your big juicy butt was
My
out.
big Polish ass was flaunting around town.
It's not Polish Day, it's Irish Day. Maybe that's what he was saying. He's like, "You leave that Irishman alone."
Maybe.
And I was like, "Yes, get this Polish woman away from me." The
Anyway,
Polish and the Irish, they get along, don't they?
I think so.
I don't see why not. We're both, we got fun accents. We enjoy
Drinking
cabbage
and cabbage, yeah.
There's the big cabbage.
Potatoes, I feel.
Yeah. Vodka? That's a Polish thing.
Polish is a vodka thing.
Yeah.
Vodka is a Polish thing.
Yeah, Irish got the brown stuff. We got the hard brown
We got
stuff.
the hard browns.
And
We got
the thick black stuff. We like our dark liquids.
Yeah, and your dark, like your blood puddings and your
gravies and just...
Oh, man, I want gravy.
The life expectancy of an Irish person back in the day, especially near the famine, was probably very low on account of all the gravies and dark liquids that go in the body.
Well, the famine was probably not enough dark liquids and gravies.
Yeah. What were they eating?
Potatoes.
Was that cabbage time?
I think that was potato time.
No, a potato famine means that there was no potatoes.
Oh, right. Right.
You thought that was them just eating only potatoes?
Well, I thought that there was rations, and so they just... Listen, it was a tough time. Everybody, this is our podcast, Is This What You Want with Matt and Julia, where we're trying to figure out what you want. And is it talking about the Irish on St. Patrick's Day?
Maybe. I don't think I don't feel a strong connection to my Irishness.
Perhaps if you went to Ireland, you'd feel differently.
I always wanted to do that. I'm like, I want to spend a St. Patrick's Day in Ireland, or just go to Ireland and dabble and scuttle about. Because I did one of those DNA tests, and I am Irish. Also, I think almost equally Scottish.
Really?
According to my mom, we're related to some Scottish king, but I feel like that's what a lot of Irish and Scottish people say. They're like, yeah, we're related to a Scottish king.
Apparently, we're also related to some sort of, it's either Scottish or Irish royalty.
Better not be the same king.
Oh,
That'd
God,
be
imagine
sick.
we're related.
Ew, and then we have a baby and it has 4 arms and it's like, yaga. I'm Scottish little baby and you are related.
No, we looked it up and it's something to do, it was Crathy's Castle.
Craffy's Castle. That sounds like
Crathy's.
a video arcade. Come on down to Craffy's Castle.
Crathes, Crathy's Castle. Anyway, that's what I am. I'm like English, Irish, Scottish, Polish, Canadian.
Mishmash. Yeah.
Mishmash, patty whack, give a dog a bone.
I just say Canadian. I'm like, that makes more sense to me. Because I don't know if my like grandfather was from Ireland. I don't know if there's like a real hard Irishness.
So you don't know who was the last person to be like born?
I think it was
there?
great grandparents. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Because with my granddad, I'm pretty sure his parents, I think maybe they were born in the States actually.
The United States?
In the United States of America. And then my Grammy, they were born in, I feel like, not like Calgary, but like somewhere
Garbage
West
trucks
Canada.
going by, if you can hear that, by the way, listener.
Yeah. But then my Babcia and Jaju, they were born in Poland.
Well, yeah, with names like that. You're not shooting out of Canada with Babshu and Jaju.
Babcia and Jaju is the name for grandparent.
I know that. I mean, I shouldn't talk. I had a Nana and Pop-Up.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from either.
That's pretty standard to have a Nana and a Pup-Pup.
I know, but even as a kid, I remember being like, can I just call Nana Grandma? And my parents were like, no, that's Nana. Nana.
Everybody has grandma. Mine was Grammy.
Grammy.
Grammy
I know.
and Granddad.
Grandmother.
Grandmother.
You have to be British to really accent that. Grandmother and grandfather.
Or you have to be like some sort of like rich New York elite on a Gossip Girl who's like, my grandfather.
Yeah. If you say it, they look at your bank statement and they're like, prove that you can say what you just said.
My grandfather is
you're
the
rich.
biggest oil tycoon in all of New York.
My grandfather.
He
And
will own this
grandfathers
town.
have monocles and they wear 3-piece suits.
And I've done a lot of bad things.
They've done a lot of bad things, but they have a little hanky in their and they pat their foreheads down when they're feeling a bit moist in the face. They go, "Oh, this New York weather, my lord." That's what they say. That's a grandfather for you.
And then they just yell at someone and to make themselves feel better.
Yeah, then they yell at a minority, and then it's back to work.
Wow.
Speaking of work, it is, of course, Chappy Hour. It is the only happy hour dedicated to the worst robot movie of all time, which Julia has not seen. Chappy could be Irish. We don't know that. I know he's a South African accent.
Where was Chappy built, you think? In South Africa?
South Africa.
Okay.
But
Maybe he was built by an Irishman or a woman.
I know. It's we never know that. There should be a spin-off. There should be a holiday episode of Chappie where he celebrates St. Patrick's Day and he tries to drink a beer and he shorts out his whole body and explodes. It's a very quick episode. He goes, "Oh yeah, Chappie, celebrate," and then he drinks a beer and they're like, "Chappie, no!"
Chappy, no!
He's like, "Yeah." And then just explodes. And they go, "Well, it's probably for the best because he sucked."
Poor Chappy.
Poor little Chappie.
But it is Chappy Hour, and here's the thing. We are chapping something not very Irish, because that's going to come later. We are chapping a Bloody Caesar, which is similar to a Bloody Mary, but you got that hint of Irish clam.
It does. A little bit of Irish clam in there. It's beautiful. We put some tagine along the
Tagine
edge.
around the rim, and then what did I put in here? I dolled it up with some so it's clamato, and then I put some Frank's Red in there. I put some pickle juice. I put some pickles. Put some what's it called? Worcestershire.
Can never say it right.
Worcestershire.
I think you're adding
Worcester.
one too many SHs.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
My mom would just call it Worcester sauce.
Worst horse fire.
The worst horse fire
The
you've ever
worst
seen.
horse fire of 2023 happened today.
Anyway, we put some worst horse fire in there, and then lemon juice. And a big fuck off celery stalk from my CSA box.
Yeah.
But that has like the fronds on it. Listen, I took a nice picture, and we'll be posting that on the gram. So be sure to check that out.
Wow.
Is This What You Want podcast on Instagram?
I remember seeing Bloody Marys and Caesars as a kid with the big celeries poking out. And it was such a confusing drink to me because I'm like, what is this, a soup? What is this, like you're drinking soup?
I always love them.
Even
Like-
as a kid? You had Bloody Marys as a kid?
I had Virgin Marys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I loved a Virgin Mary. I loved a Virgin Pina Colada. I loved a Virgin Daiquiri. I'll never forget that we were in Florida with my parents taking some vacay. I was probably 12. I think that's the last like real vacation we all took together. Anyway.
That's not true. We went to like Mexico.
Yeah, my sister wasn't there though.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway.
Yikes.
And we ordered, the two of us ordered like Virgin Daiquiris, and then they came, strawberry daiquiris, and they came, and my dad just joked to the waitress, and he's like, "Those are Virgin, right?" And she went, "Oh my God." And she like was almost in tears because like they take it so seriously, and she just, can you imagine? Like we had sipped those and we're like, wow.
I am drunk. Drunk kid? Yikes.
We just watched the episode of The Simpsons where Bart accidentally drinks all this beer.
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day
And
episode.
it's a whole like...
It's the Beer Baron episode. It's so good. And we figured out, because we're like, who the hell voices the Beer Baron? And it's, I forget what his name was, but he's a Canadian actor.
Yeah,
who's been in
comedian.
a million things. I think he was on SCTV originally. And I'm like, I can't believe that's him. I was picturing like a guy from like Law and Order or something. So he has that real Rex Benner voice. Whoa, that's pretty good. Beer Baron, I will find you.
You also kind of sound like Glenn Foster, a.k.a. that Canadian guy.
Oh, the Liberal Party's in the news. Yikes. They've done it again. Or not. Real inside baseball stuff. Also, is there a relation from Bloody Mary to Bloody Mary that you say into a mirror?
Maybe.
Did they make a drink in her honor? Is that what you say? You say Bloody Mary 3 times, and then she's like, make my drink.
Put some friggin' tomato juice and vodka together.
Put some freaking tomato juice in vodka. Okay, Bloody Mary.
Also, who was Bloody Mary and why does she show up and why is she bad?
And why does she only live in mirrors?
I don't know.
It's back in the day. I'm sure we've talked about this before, but like that, just getting passed around schoolyards before the internet blows my mind because it had such a wide spread. Everyone knew about it, but you're like, what was the network here? And it was just kids talking on the playground.
Yeah.
Being like, this is like Bloody Mary. That and like the Marilyn Manson took out his ribs to suck his own dick.
Literally every single person I knew that. That was just like, that's what he did.
Pre-internet. That was pre-internet.
Or Ozzy Osbourne like bit the head off of a dove or what was it? On stage?
Bat. He did, actually. That was real.
Why he do?
He thought it was a rubber bat. And so he jokingly did it, but then he did it. And
was
then
it a live bat or a dead bat?
I think it was a dead one. Well, it's dead now. But then, like, bat blood. And that's real controversial these days because they say, that maybe COVID came from bat soup and then maybe
Did
COVID came
Ozzy
from...
Osbourne start COVID?
He started COVID.
It was just like hibernating in his body?
Yeah. It was, no wonder he was all fucked up.
Honestly. Poor Ozzy's not doing so well.
That was like the first reality show, wasn't it? Remember watching that? I remember seeing that and I'm being like, oh, we can just watch these people live in their home?
I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, that's not going to take off.
Yeah. And then I remember watching a lot of it. And then cut to us now. We're watching people work on fucking boats.
We all know too much about each other. Like, our lives are not, we as humans, our lives are not supposed to be this public.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have some fucking reprieve. We're supposed to be able to make mistakes and,
be private.
But in some ways it is good because it does, people who are like really bad, it sort of highlights when they're bad.
Yeah.
But then it also gives those people a platform and people are like, I don't care if they're bad. I'm going to go see fucking Crystalia anyway.
I know. I just want to like be one of those actors. Like there's some actors that we know that have barely any social media presence, and it's because they're working all the time and they're like, you know what, I'm not going to fuck this up. Or like whenever a friend gets like hired by like Disney or something, they like delete all their social media. They're like, fuck this. I don't need this anymore. And I'm like, oh, that freedom to just get a paycheck coming in and not have to worry about.
If I was steadily working and people were booking me and I wasn't trying to be like, hey, look at me, I'm good, I have followers, I can bring people come, I would absolutely stop.
Yeah.
Or I'd have like a private one just with my friends so I can look at your stupid kids, I can see your dumb dogs.
Sure. Communication. Just for one for me, communicate. And that's what blows me away about like big celebrities. Like I was thinking about Seth Rogen. Like he has Twitter, he uses it. He like, or like, I remember there's friends of ours that were writing for Will Smith's TikTok. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, God, no wonder he fucking flew off the handle. He's trying to like keep up with his social media. Imagine that was a big TikTok prank. Imagine the writers are like, you should slap Chris Rock at the Oscars. And they're like, it'll kill. And then he like took it very seriously. And they're like, hold on, we weren't rolling.
We were joking.
But the world was rolling. I remember I couldn't sleep that night. That was odd. That was an odd night.
That he slapped? We were in Palm Springs.
I know, and I like couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, the world's different now.
God, that's what makes the world different.
I know. The Ukraine gets invaded, and I'm like, but then Will Smith slaps Chris
It was
Rock.
just something that I could have never predicted. Like,
Yeah.
I just remember that was happening, and you're like, oh my God. Will Smith just slapped Chris Rock. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm in Palm Springs. Will Smith is slapping Chris Rock. I'm just like, I can't handle this right now.
It's just too much. It's too much. Let's think about past St. Patrick's days. Patrick days. Pasty days.
Past ones?
Yeah. Have you always had enjoyable St. Patrick's days?
I've had some good ones.
Yeah.
I honestly can't remember a lot of them, so maybe that's bad. I remember one with Christina Walkinshaw, power listener Christina Walkinshaw.
Yeah.
I think that was the year before COVID. So that's
Yeah.
2019.
Was I there?
Yeah. We went to this like Irish pub, I want to say in like Burbank.
Oh, that's right. We did.
And that was fun. It was crazy busy. And then we went to this other place. A picture came up in my memories. Yeah, that was a fun one. It wasn't like too crazy. It was like the right amount of ruckus. I remember getting so fucked up. I was probably like, I don't know, 20 and going to Filthy McNasty's.
Ew, I know where that is.
And
That's Toronto,
which is in
right?
Toronto. I don't think it exists anymore. Thank God. It was on King Street, and I got so hammered, and I got in this big fight with my boyfriend at the time.
Uh-oh.
And
Hope
I
you
took
guys
the
are
subway
okay now.
alone, and it was bad.
That's bad. That's
bad.
That's St. Patrick's Days can always go one of two ways. It's like fine. It's never amazing, or it can be an actual natural disaster. People
natural disaster?
Yeah, like people just losing their fucking minds, barfing. I mean, remember that year in Venice when I barfed in my own underpants?
Oh yeah, Matt barfed in his own underpants. I feel like we talk about this every year
Because it was a wild,
as is
wild
tradition.
time. There was, something was wrong, and then I threw them in the tub and woke up, and that was that. So that's why St. Patrick's Day might be a bad day. I'm not sure, but we're taking it real chill today. I think we're just staying home. We're slow cooking a corned beef.
Yeah, we got a corned beef from Costco. I put it in the friggin' slow cooker this morning.
Friggin' big hunk of corned beef. I don't know if I've had just straight up. Usually corned beef is it's like a hash or something. Usually it's mashed in with something else.
See, that's what I don't like. Whenever I see corned beef hash on the menu, I'm like, that's what I want. But then I'm like, oh, it's all like minced up. I don't like
Yeah.
that. I like a slice of corned beef.
Is corn involved in this beef somehow? Is there
No,
like corn?
and we said we'd look into
Or is
it
it
of like
corn
what that
meal?
was. I think so, maybe.
Very odd. Why are
Also-
they corning their beef out in Ireland?
Also, the garbage trucks are here again, or some sort of. I'm sorry. I'm looking back at memories now to see what we were doing in previous St. Paddys Day. The one before that in 2020. That's the one when like the lockdown, the stay-at-home order
it
happened.
just started. Yeah.
And we're like, we're gonna stay at home, and we did like all these like green screen fun things like with friends.
That's
Remember?
right, because that was like all of North America was like stay inside, and then we're like green screen us, and we'll green screen ourselves with you. And I thought at first it was nice. It's like this is going to be a couple weeks, and we'll have a cute little St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah.
and then the world just kept falling apart.
The world
we tried.
kept falling
Isn't
apart.
that nice that we tried to spread joy that early in it and throughout?
Yeah,
Some would call us heroes.
we're full heroes.
We should get a key to the city. Do people still do that? Did mayors still do keys to the city? Mm-hmm. And does the key work in all the locks? I never understood keys to the city. When I was a kid, I used to think there was like a big gate at the front of the city, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I get to lock the city
Yeah,
up."
that's
when
what I don't
want."
understand. There's no way there's like a universal key that lets you. I was thinking it was a universal key that lets you go into any of the shops anytime you wanted.
Yeah, which would be so dangerous. But they're like, he's a hero or she's a hero. They can do whatever they want.
That's true, but
I don't know if I'd want the key to L.A. You just go in the wrong building, and then people are like, "Get out of here!" And they're just like filming a weird porno, and you're like, "I have the key."
we love a weird porno.
I know. They're probably filming it just in the valley right now. They're probably filming some weird St. Patrick's Day porno somewhere.
There's pornos being filmed all around us.
No, literally under us, above us.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah.
Porno styles. So I'm like getting sucked into this like I'm like I really don't think we've done a whole lot for St. Paddys Day over the years.
Probably because we hit our 30s and we're like, this is dumb.
No, but I'm looking back into our like 20s, even back to like 2014, 2013. I'm
I
like,
kind of
what?
lost it for St. Paddys Day after college. It was exciting because you're already with your friends. Like I lived with my friends and we're like, let's go out. But when you have to be like, let's meet here. And then you go to a bar and there's a huge line. You're like, shit, let's go somewhere else. And then you're just tired and it's cold and it's Canada.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of tired and cold in Canada, let's start with our first segment. Well, that was stupid.
Well,
that
that
was
was stupid. Yeah. This is where we talk about something stupid that happened this week in our lives. Maybe think about something stupid that happened in your life and reflect, because that's the best you can do is recognize it and try to move on.
And that's a great segue, because recognizing it and moving on is what I'd like to do. Because I'm very good at recognizing it. I'm not so good at moving on. And that is my theme of some very stupid things that have been happening. It has been a challenging month or two for me, dear listeners. A lot's been going on. And it's very stupid to me that I'm not able to, like, I was looking it up. And I was like, because I've had OCD in the past. Like I used to have to like flick on the lights 3 times, count to 3, do stuff like that. And then I sort of grew out of it, whatever. But what I think I have is like rumination. So like I'll like replay like an argument in my head, or like what I need to say to someone, or I'll try to fix things. I don't like conflict. So I'm like, okay, so what is the root of the problem? How did that happen? If I could just talk to that person, I could fix this, whatever. So that's stupid. And I'm trying to fix myself. I am. I'm going to therapy. I'm trying to find the right therapist. Yabba dabba do. However, I will say, it's very stupid to me when someone does have a conflict in you, with you,
yep.
for you,
all over
by
you, under you,
all over you, under you, next to you. And they don't speak to you about it. They just blast it out there and you're like, let's talk about this. And then...
And they don't want to resolve it.
They don't want to resolve
immediately.
it. It's like you just want to stew in the conflict and whatever. And you're like, no. And it's like, okay. And that drives me absolutely nuts. And again, I have to be like, well, that's their issue, not mine. But because the way that I am, I take on all of that. And I'm like, but why? And then I'm like, I obsess over it. I'm like, if I could just speak to them, this would be fixed. And I'm like, there's only so much I can do for myself or for them. Yeah. And I know in my heart of hearts what I did or did not do. And if you don't want to talk to me, I don't know what to do. There's absolutely nothing you can do. Absolutely nothing.
You can't control other people. Yeah.
I can do. But it sucks because it's sort of, I don't know. I don't trust people anymore. Like, it's not that I don't trust anybody, but I'm like, I'm going to be really... Because I am such an open book, and I feel like I am very emotional and very sensitive, and I trust very quickly. And I think I'm kind of, it's sad, but I don't
trust people.
No.
Yeah, I get it.
For right now, I'm just like,
there's just so many things. There's so many factors when it comes to other people. You just don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're dealing with. As much as you're like, let's fix this, you're like, maybe they're dealing with a million other things, and what you think is so big is not as big to them. And they're like, I'll come back to this after I deal with all this other stuff. So it's like, you have no idea what's going on. And that's what I have, because I also hate conflict. I think about it all the time. I don't know how people live. That's what I was thinking about. Like, I think I mentioned this, like people like Tucker Carlson or those like right-wing fucking assholes where like millions of people hate them, which might almost be better because you're like, I don't even know any of these people and there's so many. Fuck this.
Because they're just throwing in a controversial opinion and they're like, but this is what I believe is right and whatever. Whereas mine, it's like, that's the thing. If I do something where I'm like, oh, I could admit when I do something wrong. And like you said, I'm like, I cannot lie.
Yeah, you're incapable of lying.
It's like,
like when you see Julia do stand up and she goes, the other day I was at the grocery store. No, guess what? She was at the grocery store. See,
I can embellish for stand up. That's the one thing. But like we were at a stand up show yesterday, and the host of the stand up show was like, "Oh, there is a bar tab for the comedians," and she looked at me. She's like, "You too. You can get on it. Whatever." I'm like, "Oh, that's so nice." And then we're like, "Oh, we're on the comedians tab," and she looks at us. She's like, "Oh, you're both performing?" I'm like, well, I'm actually not performing this week, but I have performed previously. And Matt's like, just fucking say you're performing. I'm like, I know. No.
Little lies like that where you're just like, it'll speed things up for both parties. It's not going to hurt
But
anything.
I don't want to be like, you said, that's the thing. I never want to be caught by like, why'd you say that? So I'm like, I'm pretty meticulous about about trying not to lie and speak the truth. So when someone like accuses me of something, I'm like, well, what the fuck is this? Anyway, it's been bad. Like it's very stupid that a conflict arose. I mean, that's sort of been ongoing, but I thought it was put to bed, but then came to the forefront again on Saturday.
Yep.
And literally, like, it destroyed me until yesterday. And I'm still like not over it, but I'm at least able to like function like a human. But like,
Yeah, you just need some time.
I'm talking fucking shaking on the floor, vomiting from crying. It's bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like to be very open with my listeners. Now, I know this is not funny, but
Well, this is what this is. I mean, Chris Bush put this perfectly. Is that this is basically like a weekly diary.
it is.
It's like, and if the listeners can relate and they're interested in this and they can reflect on their own experiences, then so be it.
And like, I don't trust anybody, but I trust my listeners. And of course, I'm not naming names or anything, but it just fucking sucks.
We have such a small amount of listeners, you could probably name them all right now if you wanted to.
It was Chris Bush. He did this to me. No, it wasn't. But yeah. Anyway, it's a stupid feeling, but I just have to. But it's also a learning experience, and I'm gonna move on. And I do think it's important to talk about this stuff. But again, I don't want to talk. I want to talk to the person about it, but they won't. So I'm like, I gotta talk to someone. But I don't want to be accused of talking shit. So here we are.
I get it.
Anyway, Matt, what's your stupid thing?
I mean, my stupid thing's in no way related to or what you're going through, but I was supposed to start improv class this week. And because previous podcast we mentioned like big goals and what we really wanted, and both of us were like, yeah, we want to be, stars of a sitcom, actors, whatnot. Let's take some steps towards that. And so mine was signing up for improv, which I've hesitated to do for so many years. And then finally it was coming to Tuesday and it was Monday. And I'm like, wow, tomorrow I start my journey. And then I get an email and it's like, hey, this never happens, but we have to postpone all the classes by 1 week, which then fucks up my whole schedule. I end up missing a class. And I'm just like, it was one of those things because the last time I signed up for improv was March 2020. And then the world ended. And I'm like, if anything else happens, I think I'm out. I think this is third time. Strike 3, I'm out.
No, this was your second strike. Oh, if something else happens.
If something else happens. Yeah. If they're like, well, the whole building. I told Julia, I'm like, I think the building's going to collapse when I step in there. Be like, wow, my first day of improv. And it's going to be all over the news. And be like, D-list
didn't we say something is going to drive into the building? Like an ice cream truck or something?
Pauly Shore in a fucking Jeep or something. Sorry, buddy. I mean, what a way to die. I'm big Encino Man fan.
I don't think you'd die. I think you'd just be badly hurt.
That would be the best because I think maybe he's got money to give me for...
Don't even talk about being badly hurt by Pauly Shore because it's too close to home where it could actually happen.
Could happen. I did see him at a diner once a few years ago. He brought back his bacon 4 times.
Huh.
It was pretty wild. Like
man knows what he wants.
Well, he said he wanted crispy bacon, and then he got it a second time, and he's like, "Man, can you cook this a bit more?" And then third time, they're like, "A bit more," and then the fourth time, he's like, "A little bit more." And the kitchen staff was right there because we were at the counter, and they're like, "Come on, man!" Like they were like, after a fourth time, they're all like, "Come on, we can't fry it anymore." Anyway,
burnt.
It was exciting. I was like,
I feel like
celebrities.
I saw him. I saw him at the Comedy Store.
Yep. Oh, we did. Last time we were there, he was bipping and bopping around.
I think he's premiering or he's touring like a one-man show. Apparently, it's quite good.
Yeah, I would
He's
like
had quite
to see
the life.
It. Another stupid thing this week is so I've been like trying to get representation for cruise ships.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, I just want to make a little bit extra money. Maybe go on a cruise. We know so many comics that are doing it, and you can go for months at a time, or you can do little spurts here and there, make a decent amount of money. And I emailed a couple agencies, and one got back to me, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll look at your stuff. We'll let you know." And this was like weeks and weeks ago. And I'm like, "Fuck. Well, they must hate me. I'm a piece of shit." Like they looked at my stuff. When someone's like, "Yeah, we'll look at your stuff and get back to you," and then like 4 weeks go by, you're like, "Well, I guess they hate me." Here's what's stupid about that. I followed up and just resent everything. I'm like, just making sure you got this. And they're like, "We love this." And now I'm like working with them.
That's what's so tricky about this industry, or I guess any industry, any business you're in, and because it's a fine line between bothering people and following up.
I guess don't be afraid to follow up.
Don't be afraid to follow up. However, what makes it stupid is sometimes you follow up and people are like, "Okay, that's enough," and then they're bothered by you, and you're like, "If again, communication, we are bad as a society." At fucking communicating. And I think that's the source of some of our conflict lately is I like to think that I'm good at communicating. And when I do, it ruffles the wrong feathers because people are like, oh, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah, this intense communication.
And it's not confrontation. I'm like, I just want to know the fucking facts, man.
Well, that's what also I think made your situation more frustrating is because entertainment industry as a whole is very bad at communicating. And when we audition for something, we rarely hear anything back. And if we do a callback, like even I did a callback last week and they're asked if I was on avails, which means I'm being considered for the commercial. And then I just didn't hear anything until the day of the shoot. And I emailed my agent. I was like, so am I still on avails? And they're like, oh, no, you're not. They just never let us know.
Yeah.
Like, well, thanks for leaving my wiener in the wind here, blowing like a windsock at an airport.
Everybody's wiener and puss is left in the wind, and it fucking sucks. And
I don't like when my wiener's left in the wind.
But you know what I do like?
What?
When things are warm and fuzzy.
Oh. Do you want to lead with a fuzz
Yeah.
Something that made you feel nice this week?
I'll start with something warm and fuzzy. Okay. Two little things. Okay, so despite me having a full fucking breakdown, I do feel warm and fuzzy because I posted like 2 Instagram things. I was like asking him like, has anybody ever dealt with like OCD and rumination? Like, what solutions have you found? Yada, yada. And then my next Instagram story was just like because everybody's always like, check in on your strong friends and make sure they're okay, right? They always say that.
Yeah.
So I put something in my Instagram stories like, check in on your friends and then use what they say against them and blah, 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 blah. And I went on this thing and everybody's like, are you okay? And then I ended up deleting it because I'm like, who am I right now? But I'm like, you know when you feel so like stuck in a corner and you're like, I can't talk to anybody about this. But, and it's not the people I expected, but there's people who reached out to me who have dealt with this kind of stuff before, with the rumination and mental health issues. And it was just so nice I was like, oh, you are the one reaching out to me because of this. Yeah. And they're like, I've dealt with this in the past. And what I find, it's always really good to have a trusted person you can talk to. So I am that person. And the person who did reach out to me, I'm like, I 100% trust. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're so put together and would never have any mental health issue. That's my perception of them. And I'm like, oh my, like, you really don't know what anybody is going through or what they have gone through in the past.
That's right.
So it was really nice to reach out to them. And Dan Duvall, like, he's obviously gone through like a fucking fuck ton. And he's like, I'm here to talk whenever you need. So it's just, yeah, the amount of people who did reach out. And it's not the people you think, it's not the people fucking who you're like, these are my best friends. And that's where I'm like, you know what? Maybe this kind of stuff is good because, you know, people change. You don't have to be friends with the same people you were whatever years ago. You can't just because you're like, oh, I put in so much time and effort in this relationship, I have to be friends with them. It's like,
yeah,
no, I'm old enough that I'm kind of over that shit. But so that was a really nice thing. Also, very warm and fuzzy is we both got to open for Randy Feltface.
Yes, this very successful Australian comedian who's also happens to be a puppet. There's a man beneath the puppet, though.
Yes.
And yeah, because I was supposed to open for him in Brea, California at the Improv, and then he's like, "We need a host." I'm like, "Well, my wife's a comedian." He's like, "Oh my God, power couple!" And then so he brought you on. And it was sold out. Like it was like 300 people on a Wednesday.
Fully sold out. And that was like the day of like, I want to say my biggest mental breakdown. And I had that show. We both had that show that night. And just meeting him and I was hosting and going out on stage. Also, because like I hosted a Reno a couple weeks ago and I was just like, God, this is work. Just going out there, I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Everybody was just so nice. They were just into it and lovely. And then you were so great. And then he does 70 minutes. And he's so fucking funny. Like
It's
never
so
in a million
good.
years if someone's like, all right, there's this purple puppet
Yeah.
and he does like over an hour of comedy. I'd be like, kill me now.
You tell any American, I've told so many Americans, they're like, who are you doing shows with? I'm like, Randy Feltface. They're like, what?
And they're like,
Feltface?
why are you pranking me?
Yeah, and they're like, I'm sorry, you're opening for a puppet? I'm like, you gotta trust me. He's so goddamn funny. I literally, when I did Austin, I watched his 1 hour 3 times in a row, died every time. And then his new hour is equally, if not more funny. He's
so
insane.
funny. Also, just him as a human, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, just like the sweetest man I have ever met. And just the whole night was just very warm and fuzzy. And it's sort of like after that was like the first night I had like quiet in my mind and peace.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? Comedy is healing, man. Comedy is a fucking drug.
I've had so many days like that where I have a really rough day, but then it's like a good show sneaks up on you and you're like, you know what? This is fine.
And then there's other times where I'm
fine.
having a great day and then I have the worst set and it goes the opposite way. And it's
Yeah.
just... But yeah, it was
very nice.
it was nice. And I'm so excited that we get to open for him again
In Vegas.
literally the night before our wedding. And I loved
Yeah.
how that turned out because Matt was like, oh, he asked me to do this.
He
But
jokingly asked me, he's like, hey, is your dinner rehearsal for your wedding perhaps my show that you want to open?
and Matt told me this.
I'm
and,
like, no, I probably can't.
and then I was like, no, do it. And this is before this is how selfless is that of me? Because I was like,
you're the real hero.
I was like, Matt, do it. Yeah, for sure. That'll be fun. And then again, he needed a host, so now I'm in. So I just love that we're both doing this
It's
show.
nice. It's very nice.
Yeah. And it'll keep me like in line because I don't want to get too fucked up the night before my wedding.
That's right. Because we have
My wedding, not
your
our wedding.
Not your wedding. It's my wedding.
Oh, also a little side note, and I know I've been talking about like so much warm and fuzzy stuff. So it's Matt's birthday on the 23rd of
I
March.
have not even clocked that in any capacity.
It's your birthday. I have clocked it, and that's also our bachelor/bachelorette parties. Our first day in Vegas.
More your bachelorette, and I am going to go do something else for a bit.
Don't even say that.
That's fine. You don't have to call what I'm doing a bachelor party.
It is a bachelor party. Either way, it's your fucking birthday, and I ordered you 2 things from eBay, and they came in today.
Oh my
and I'm
god! When do I get to see
so
them?
excited for them. I'm gonna give them to you on your birthday, ho?
Why not earlier, ho? So I can I use them?
Not before.
Okay.
No, it's called birthday presents. Why
I
not
see.
earlier? You can't wait 1 week.
Oh, it's fine. Listen, I'm Irish. This is every Irish person's birthday. St. Paddys.
No,
Day.
you're gonna have it on your birthday because when we wake up on your birthday, my sister's gonna be here. One of my best friends, Diana, is gonna be here, and you're gonna open your little prezzies, and it's gonna be so fun. And then we're gonna set off to Vegas, and it's gonna be the best. And
How exciting!
I'm so excited. Anyway, what's your warm and fuzzy?
So are we not going to have a podcast next week? We might not actually.
Oh,
I
shit.
think we might skip a week because it's too much. Because everyone's coming on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Unless we record on Tuesday.
but
I
then
don't
that's
know.
too.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Could be just a mega episode the week after.
Oh, that's gonna be a big. Yeah, maybe we do
Hopefully
like a big long one.
Well, that was stupid is not the wedding, and it's warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Or it could be a little bit of both. You know what? We could prepare for both. Be like, well, the
So much has
appetizers were
fucking
out.
gone wrong already. I'm just like, eh.
At least if
God.
something goes wrong at a Vegas wedding, you're like, it's fucking Vegas. You know? It's
Yeah, we're not in like a field in the middle of like New Jersey or something.
Yeah, getting attacked by Canadian geese. And you're just like, well, that was stupid. I don't like to have the geese attacked me. Well, I'll tell you, my warm and fuzzy was exactly.
that was warm and fuzzy.
Well, that was warm and fuzzy. Was the Randy Feltface thing because that was that made me feel very nice. Also, I auditioned for a sitcom today, and I felt very nice about that. You helped me out with that this morning, and just coming off again fresh of our goals and what we want to achieve as people, and I'm like. Yeah, just seeing Frasier last week. Was that last week? Uh-huh. Yeah. And seeing that, and then actually getting to audition for a sitcom. So, well, who knows? We'll see. I think I did a very good job, and I'm very excited and hopeful for the future, and also hopeful to maybe be on a cruise. So there's a lot of hope bouncing around, and we are ready to rock and roll. And I think that's the episode for this week because we're going to get out in the hammocks and enjoy the sun because it's very warm out.
It's finally sunny. It's been raining for
And
so long.
It is a Irish holiday. So where can they find you online if they want to see more of you?
Hey, listen, you can follow me, Julia Comedy on Instagram, Julia Comedian on Facebook, and you can follow our podcast, Is This What You Want podcast on Instagram, Matt, where can they find you?
Matt_O'Brien on Twitter and Matt O'Brien on Instagram. And the rest you can figure out. Thank you very much. Happy St. Paddy's Day, everybody.
Happy St. Paddys Day.
See you in maybe 2 weeks, probably.
Yar.
Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want?